Hi, thanks for joining me as we continue our adventure in this wonderful practice of thought transformation. Today we'll be looking at the second verse, but I want you to just think back on the previous mind training session. The verse that said, determined to obtain the greatest possible benefit from all sentient beings who are more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, may I hold them most dear at all times. The thing that I wanted to remind you about was the start of that, where it says, determined to obtain the greatest possible benefit. For me, for you, we get great benefit if we can transform our mind and become really connected in the way we feel about others and the way we feel about ourselves as part of a world of other people, of humans together, working together and getting great benefit from each other, and an opportunity to grow and heal. Okay, close your eyes. Have a big breath in and a deep sigh. Let's just take half a minute to absorb what I've just said and find where it fits for you. Okay, have another deep sigh. Open your eyes. Something really amazing to learn about your own mind. If you do this session in a week's time, you will be in a different mental space, a different place, based on what you've been through and what's happening on the specific day that you choose to practice. And this is happening for us all the time. When we interact with ideas, moments, we are bringing to those moments how we are feeling before we even get to them. And that's the notion of carrying your past on your back. So if you had a really good sleep, for example, you might wake up fresh and clear. But if you're feeling sick, you're likely to have a more negative type of mind. If you feel that you've been really hurt by someone, that's going to affect your mind and your moods and your willingness to be open, self-reflective, as well as considerate and respectful. And your level of intention will fluctuate depending, again, on how you're feeling. That's why we need to repeat practice. So I really recommend that you do these mind training videos many times, because you will hear the information differently each time. And don't forget, if I speak to you for 1 minute straight, half of that time you'll be lost in thought and you won't have really heard or connected to the words I was saying and the information I was tying together. Remember that. Our ability to concentrate is very poor. I can say that for myself, that's for sure. And that's why I reread mind training books and teachings and even re-watch videos, because I pick up parts that I didn't really pick up on before. That's because my mind is changing every minute, every day. Okay, let's just settle again. So sit up straight and close your eyes. So get a sense of yourself in this moment right now. It's easy to check in on the body. How is the body feeling? You'll be able to clearly distinguish things like pain or tension or even tiredness. And it's easy to check in on the breath. You can distinguish whether it's easy, relaxed and slow, smooth and light, or perhaps fast, tight, constricted. But it's harder to recognize your mental state, your emotional state right now. When you're experienced at meditation, at becoming self-aware, aware of your own mind and the stories it's making up and the things it doesn't notice, when you're experienced with that, even still, in a present moment, you may find yourself reacting or overreacting and not realizing that. So usually it's afterwards that you notice. And an experienced meditator, someone who meditates every day, well, they will catch themselves out more quickly. It won't be 3 days later before they realize, I was really negative then, I was really closed or caught up in drama. No, it might take a minute and then you realize. And that maybe gives you a chance to do something quickly to restore balance. So recognize yourself right now. How your mind is feeling right now will be distinguished by the way it reacts to things, to ideas, particularly if it becomes negative and defensive. But also, it's harder to tell if your mind is open and able to listen, willing to listen, willing to grow and to look at itself, willing to accept and acknowledge responsibility for its own delusions, misconceptions, misthoughts. You shouldn't try to be these things. You need to practice and listen to the teachings and then decide for yourself, is it right or is it not? Is it the way you want to be? Do you want to commit to this? Or maybe not. If you're not sure, then you shouldn't force yourself to do or be anything other than who you are. Just be willing to look. That's the meditation ethos. Okay. Have a big breath in and a deep sigh. Open your eyes again. Okay. Now, I think it's fair to say that this practice, these 8 verses of thought transformation, are very difficult, very challenging, and also inspiring and liberating. And whenever you get really stuck and find it difficult, it's quite likely when you're really at a good point, when you're feeling conflict and opening up new possibilities and self-insight. So watch yourself as we go through these. Some of them you'll like, but get really interested in the ones that you don't like. Okay, let's do verse number 2. It's quite short. When in the company of others, I shall always consider myself the lowest of all, and from the depths of my heart hold others dear and supreme. Close your eyes, I'll read it again. When in the company of others, I shall always consider myself the lowest of all, and from the depths of my heart hold others dear and supreme. Let's just take half a minute to get a feeling for that and to react to that. Focus on your abdominals now. Feel yourself breathing. Okay. So, this is one that people can confuse and get lost in, get stuck in. But it's really about humility. When in the company of other people, I shall always consider myself the lowest of all. Now that's the tricky one, and some people will get stuck there. And from the depths of my heart, hold others dear and supreme. Now I can't find anything wrong with that second part. From the depths of my heart, hold others, all others, dear and supreme. I think that level of humility is exciting. I find that very inspiring. It's the bit earlier that I think some people will worry about. I shall always consider myself the lowest of all. So it's not a story about myself and my low self-worth. So that would be a mistake, a misinterpretation. So when we say consider myself the lowest of all, it's not about self-absorption, it's about considering others highly. That's important. From the depths of my heart, hold others dear and supreme. Imagine if we all did that to each other. If we all engaged with each other, where we considered each other dear and supreme. We valued each other. We respected each other. We listened to each other. We trusted each other. That's what this is about. Trying to create that type of mindset. Now, the other day when I was preparing for this session, I wrote a few notes about it. So I'm going to read them to you. This is just part of the discussion. It's not the whole discussion. This is quite challenging. We, as egoic minds, are totally focused on getting what we want and avoiding what we don't want. So, we relate to the whole world and to all of the people in it in the same way. People are part of our story of our lives, where we are focused on getting what we want and what we need. We require or expect people to adhere to our needs. And we like them if they do, and don't like them if they don't. If they don't meet our needs and desires, we are not willing to respect them. We are not willing to be humble. We are not willing to listen. We are not willing to accept them. So first, our priority is for ourself, self-cherishing. Also, we place our needs above those of others. Not all the time, but most of the time. It could be said that we consider other people as servants of our happiness. They are there for our pleasure, for our needs, because if they do not make us happy, we don't like them. We reject them. We will not listen to them. We will not respect them or be humble. And the aim of this verse is to transform that type of thinking, that type of way of being. Now your mind might be rejecting some of those ideas. So close your eyes. You might say, I don't do that. That's not what I'm like. That's not what people are like. Maybe it's not true. But if you're rejecting this idea quickly and emotionally, then we've probably honed in on something. You must be willing to look. Look at the ideas and look at yourself, your own egoic, self-cherishing mind. The worst thing here is to be in denial. Remember, meditation is about self-awareness. So let's take a little bit of time to absorb these ideas and your reactions to them, the feelings that come up. Relax, have a deep sigh. Open your eyes. I'll read it one more time. And let's read this idea with passion, inspiration, and how beautiful it is, the intention. When in the company of others, I shall always consider myself the lowest of all, and from the depths of my heart hold others dear and supreme. Humility, great respect, openness, trust, admiration. Imagine if we all did this together for each other. What would a room of people feel like if we all had that level of humility? Now, when you put this verse into practice, the best thing to do is notice when you find it really difficult to treat someone with this level of reverence and respect. These are the people that you don't like, that you feel are hurting you or letting you down or doing things that you don't approve of, for example. Especially if you don't approve of someone, that's a clear sign that the humility has gone. So, whenever you have problems with people, this is when this practice becomes particularly important. And it's your real opportunity to really hone in on it when it's the hardest for you to do. That's a smart practitioner who's recognizing, my self-cherishing is rising up strongly now. My arrogance and self-righteousness, my disrespecting of others, it's so clearly a part of my way of being. That's the time to reconsider, to check yourself. Am I being humble? Am I treating this person with respect, reverence, remembering that just because we see someone in a certain way at a certain time, it doesn't mean that's who they are. Also, we bring a whole lot of stuff to every moment. We have a lot of filters in the way of how we see people. And don't forget, if they're not giving us what we want, we don't like them. So this is a good thought transformation practice to check yourself, check your mind, and in particular use it when you're going to interact with people that you generally are not humble with, that you generally don't respect, and place yourself below them and consider them dear and supreme. You'll start to see that you bring things to every interaction, every communication. People are reacting to you, It's not just you reacting to them. Try to create connection by being more humble. It's a really good way to do this work. Thank you very much.